What we said yesterday, and I remember you said it earlier on yesterday, was basically the massive uh, disconnect between Wall Street and Nasdaq, and obviously we've seen it pumped into some of the Chinese markets this morning. And those of you who probably were up earlier, probably most of you aren't up early, yeah. We had the Chinese markets down 3% this morning, and what we've seen this morning is something we haven't seen for a while, especially in the US. The PPT, the plunge protection team. That's very much like the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the ECB come in and support the market. And I think the Chinese market was down about 3.5%, and they've obviously been absolutely spanked the last 2-3 weeks. Rumours, I think they've chucked in $514 million worth of stocks this morning. So bear that in mind when you're trading, and that's where I think we may see something's coming on. So I'll quickly rack over the news. How I saw it this morning is Banker Bailey spoke yesterday. Obviously, the FTSE took a slight bit of hit when he spoke. He said, don't bank on a recovery yet. However, at the end of his comment, he did say there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Also, the US, the House may vote on the COVID relief bill on Wednesday. Nancy Pelosi did say late last night there has been a slight delay over it. And obviously, Biden and the rest of them want the relief bill to put in because obviously their checks are supposed to be due to be paid out on Sunday this week. So again, if the vote does come out on Wednesday, it will be after 4:30 our time. Biden also has a prime time address on Thursday, which has just come out. Rumours he's going to mention the COVID relief plan as well. So obviously he expects the vote to go through on Wednesday. The tech companies sell off. Those of you who are aware of your technical stuff, the Nasdaq is off 10% from its peak on February the 10th, I think it was. And anyway, if we are, those of you who believe in trade and everything else, 10% from a bullish point of view is fairly normal. And that is called, those of you who are old enough, it's called the Hindenburg effect. The Hindenburg was a massive German air balloon that got blown up, I think, in 1936. If you've got time to Google it and read about the Hindenburg effect, it probably help you in trading. 9 o'clock, I put this morning, there's not much out this morning. 9 o'clock, we have Italy industrial production. 10 o'clock, we have the European OECD economic outlook. And obviously, the 10 o'clock, the GDP. So all eyes at 10 o'clock for GDP and unemployment. Work out the figures of trade, whether it will be the currency. I'll probably stick to the DAX or the Euro stocks. And also at 10 o'clock, for those of you who are into bonds, if you've got time to look and it's quiet, go on to the bonds and look at the UK gilts. We've got a 2.5 billion gilt auction coming out, a 20-year gilt auction. And if that's underfed, as the tell was a couple of weeks ago, you could see the gilts get slammed at 10 o'clock. Obviously, out this morning, Deutsche Börse and Merck's good earnings for the DAX, which may keep it up. But Siemens and BMW have all been slammed. Yields overnight have slipped down to 1.55 10-year yields, which affects the market. So again, today, we'll have a quick look coming into what we're going to trade on the opening. Those of you who realise the market's fairly volatile, yeah, and it has been, we have said all along to people when you're trading the indices, the same on Wall Street, you're better off trading the S&Ps. Obviously, in the morning, those of you who have been with me before, you don't necessarily have to trade the DAX. You can trade down here the Euro stocks. Yeah, the Euro stocks trade 10 times the volume of the DAX. And in relationships is that if the DAX moves 5 or 6 ticks, the Euro stocks moved 1. Obviously, it's very popular amongst proprietary traders because you can trade slightly bigger size, yeah, and you don't get those sudden spikes up. Those of you who are watching, especially on the candles, some of the wicks yesterday were horrendous, and you sometimes can get a 10, 20 tick slippage in the DAX. You don't tend to get that in the Euro stock because the volume and the bids and offers are so big and also so real. Those of you going through, I wonder what Bianca, you there, what your view is on the Nasdaq?
Not sure.
I think that's a very good answer because I think the markets are, even though with a massive move and new highs on Wall Street, there's a massive thing in your mind. in that when you're trading, you're not sure.
Yeah, I'm really not sure about the Nasdaq. It could possibly bounce back, seeing what's happening this morning. Could be a cat bounce. I don't know. Have to see what happens at 2:30.
And I think this is very. We said all along that as day traders or hourly traders, I sort of tell me, say we are. We either buy something, we sell something, we don't trade. And I think earlier this week, the latter, don't trade, is probably the most important thing to trade, because we've seen that. You look at your bad trades we've had this week, especially yesterday. Some of the boredom trades, you can lose money so quickly in this market. You know, if we go over to the DAX yesterday, and when it made new highs, the single prints yesterday, if we look down here, G, F, all the way down here, were madness at the time of it coming up, because no one, every time you get a new high, you know, you should never sell a new high. You should always buy a new high. Yeah, but I mean, the single prints here, I mean, these stacks are in 4-tick increments. This is it flying. You know, it's basically flowing. Almost single prints here. What? 200 ticks? Dangerous. You know, so again, you know, if you've only got a small account, you shouldn't really be trading the DAX. You know, in theory, if you're trading the DAX, your account should be probably £5,000 plus. Yeah, that's how dangerous. In theory, we only want to risk 1 or 3% of your account a day, and that account at the DAX, that's too dear. The same as Wall Street. Wall Street moving 30, 40 ticks a minute. So the only word of warning I'm saying to you on that, yeah, is beware of your account size, especially when it's quiet. Again, going on to what Bianca said and alluded to, remember, we've got the vote for Pelosi Wednesday coming out, and obviously all of those you're aware, the big news of the week is the ECB. Christine Lagarde, ECB at 12.45 to 1:30. Not so much they're going to cut rates, but whether they bring in the PEPP, what they're going to do about their lockdown. Is she going to encourage the market? Because at the moment, with the DAX rallying as it has, I think most people are expecting the ECB to be as dovish as they can. Those of you aware of their interest rates, their deposit rate still minus 0.5. Obviously, with a stronger dollar, whatever, you know, ECB is the meeting of the week. So I've got the DAX up for the opening, but also going to keep my eyes on Eurostock. Those of you who are new, yeah, maybe trade the Euro stocks instead of the DAX. So you can have the DAX up as your indicator as well, but just trade the Euro stocks with it. Those of you who have done ones-to-ones to me, you know we do the spread. Was it 9 to 2, 9 Euro stocks to 2 DAX, and it moves quite well. You know, we're looking at 9 o'clock to come in, and we may see where we are with the Chinese market being bid up at 8 o'clock. We may see some massive buying. But obviously, to me, when you have a massive day the day before and a DAX rallying 2.5%, whatever we had yesterday, and making new highs, you think yesterday the DAX was trading 14,000. We're almost 400 ticks higher than that. Yeah. So normally, what you have from the day, it's called the day after Lord Mayor's show, we might have a bit of comeback in the DAX early on because we had a huge rally yesterday. Yeah. But again, on the opening, we try and be as neutral as we can. Yeah, and look at the price action, and it will be fierce. You know, I've got the 5-minute chart up. We've got the market profile up the other side as well. Those of you who haven't got Trader Made and want it, whack me over your details, and I'll send it over to you. Hopefully, we're going to have Euro stocks up there at the end of the week. The problem we have it with the data from the exchanges is fairly slow coming back. That's a question with the exchanges. Remember, the DAX and the Euro stocks are traded on the Eurex exchange in Frankfurt. Okay, so we'll have a quick look and see where the opening is, and we look for the scalp. If there is no scalp there, and we see red and green candles coming, we tend to ignore it. It would say straight in there. The DAX is what's that drop very quickly? Too fast for me, really. What's that? 25, 30 ticks. We do expect the DAX to have probably a 40, 50 tick move in the first 2 minutes. I mean, a fairly fierce red candle on the 5 minutes charts there. Let's see what the rest of the indices are doing. FTSE suddenly coming off. Let's have a look at Euro stocks. Slightly under change there. And again, very clear on the DAX of a seller in the camp. Yeah, we said earlier on, I thought we might get up to around about 88, 90. What have we got here? 52. They've got here on the market profile as a value low. A bit early for market profile to come in here at 7 o'clock. But you can obviously see where they see that this value lows are coming here. But remember, when we go to the other side, there were so many single prints. on the way down. So if you're going to be trading the DAX here, especially on the opening, on your scalping, keep your eye on the value low. If it goes below there, just tight stops on the scalping view. We can have a 5-10 tick stop. For trading the DAX, you probably need a 30 or 40 ticks. No surprise here that the DAX has so far held on its point of control value low. Did we say 52? I think it's was that exactly the low where it's been? And I've always been a great admirer of a market profile, but I think so many people use it. A lot of technical people don't like using it because I reckon it doesn't tell them enough. All it tells me here is what actually is traded and the price action that comes through. Those of you, again, those of you on there, those of you who asked the bond exam, which I sent out multiple choice, you've got to send me your answers. There's no point in me sending you out the exam and you don't send the answers back, because we won't get an improvement there. Again, looking at the POC there at 52, that's what we have there. And hopefully the Q should come in here. Yeah, the Q has come in here, bang on the low here. We'll have a quick look at the Euro stocks to see where they are. Are they fairly more standard? 8 o'clock, we had basically up at 67. What we could have done, 64. The same, there we go, straight through the point of control on the DAX. You see it, nice through butter when it goes. That's where the stops are. People will hunt the stops. And I think, as I said, the DAX is well, we've had a 50 tick move in 120 seconds. I think for a lot of people, I don't know, those people speak. Ray, what do you think? You've been a man. You're older than me, sir. You must have a good gab by now. Yeah. If someone's new for trading, would you advise them to be on Euro stocks rather than DAX?
Oh, without doubt, because there's no there's certainly much less volatility, and the key is to, I suppose, train oneself to just basically focus on the location, really. So definitely.
I think it is half in trading, and as I said, to those who are trading the open now, we see the DAX move 50 ticks. So you think if you're a new trader, relatively new, you'll think you're missing out. You think I must do something here. But when we look at these 5-minute wicks, we know we're going from, what did we get down to, 35 down here somewhere, and within minutes we're 20 ticks high. So it's really, really hard, unless of course you're trading via the exchange, DMA, to know what's trading. So again, on the Euro stocks, fairly easier. But when you see the candle here, straight down to 57 and back up to 64. I mean, 7 ticks in the Euro stocks should equate to 40 ticks in the DAX, 30 to 61. We're almost there. So it's been easier. I don't think you would have been spooked out as much on the Euro stocks from where we got support levels around about 58, 59 here. 59, so you probably still be long on your track here. But again, for those of you who are new, have a look at Euro stocks, and again in the afternoon, because Wall Street's so fast, have a look at S&Ps. Okay, short one there. Again, remember 10 o'clock, we have the EU or GDP and obviously the employment. But those of you who are new, look, I'll send the stuff over on the discussion group. Have a look at how we work the ECB meeting, which is Thursday, the big meeting, what they can do, what they can't do. There'll be loads of stuff to put out there, and what Christine Lagarde may say in a statement, and what PEPPs are. Okay, have a good day. If not, those who have got one-to-ones, we'll do them in first ones in the next hour or so, and I'll give you a ring, Ray. Got something to tell you. The rest of you, have a good day.
Thanks, Neil.
Okay. Cheers, Neil. Bye.